Hello, welcome to the video. Today we're gonna take a look here at the Marshadow in the Open Mars League. I spent 293 XL rare candy on this Pokemon just for you to see if this Pokemon is worth it or not, and we actually got a very decent one here. I'm very happy with the IVs here. I got a 13, 14, 14. It's quite nice for a mythical Pokemon, quite an above average Pokemon I would say here, and so I'm definitely happy with the IVs, and I'm definitely happy to also that I have built this Pokemon. Here, I make a little bit of a mistake by over-predicting a little bit here with my Marshadow in the first battle. Show went for the close combat, was just knocked out the Dialga straight away, but it's still going to be fine, hopefully, as they're going to have a Necrozma in the back. And here, like, it's going to be an honest review about Marshadow. What I can already say is, from all the mythical Pokemon that you can build, this is definitely one of the best, if not the best, mythical Pokemon that you can build right now. There are other options, would be for example Zarude, which is also very good there as well, or the Meloetta. Those three Pokemon are very good right now. I think I did not miss any of them that are also very good, but those three mythical Pokemon are very good that are only exclusive through like those events. And definitely Marshadow is one of those that you kind of would want to build if you can. Here first battle sadly not going to work out for me, but it is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent. What's kind of cool about Marshadow is just that this Pokemon has a quite unique typing, which you know already from Annihilate, and you know how good Annihilate is in the Great League and Ultra League. You cannot really expect the same from Marshadow, but you can definitely expect that this Pokemon has definitely some play in this meta. It is very cool, especially because of Ice Punch. Ice Punch is the main thing why this Pokemon is so cool. And here's one other thing. As soon as this Pokemon gets its signature move, which will happen very likely eventually, maybe when the shiny gets released or something like this, it's going to be even better. Because Close Combat is cool, like don't get me wrong, Close Combat is a great move to have as well, doing quite a lot of damage, but if this Pokemon would have Shadow Ball or something better than Shadow Ball as a secondary charge move, it would be so much better. Here, I make a huge mistake for this battle. You saw me going for Close Combat against the Zygarde, just because I went straight for the charge move, because I expected the Zacian to come back in. I was going for the wrong charge move there, and this was quite impactful, which you're going to see now as well. The opponent is going to be able to go for Close Combat here, is where you try to go for an Iron Head against the opponent. This is going to not knock them out, gonna get the shield, but we should be able to align ourselves here as well, as we can use a shield. Now, I should be able to outspeed the opponent. Iron Head is coming through, and Iron Head is going to be able to take the knockout against them. Well, we're gonna see here as well how impactful that one move was, because I would have been able to easily reach that Ice Punch here most likely in time, or even knock them out if I just went for an Ice Punch instead of the Close Combat, and sadly I lose because of this. So this was just kind of unfortunate there, to be fair. Next opponent, Horrible Elite Force. I have to say before, like you think, oh, 2 battles here already were losses. This team definitely went way positive for me. Like this team was really good for me. There were other teams that I played before which were not as great, but look at this. Tyranitar did not really appreciate the Focus Blast on our Mewtwo. I changed Mewtwo with a Focus Blast recently, like I don't know, like half a year ago, because the meta was kind of really good for Focus Blast. Nowadays, I would not recommend you to run Focus Blast on Mewtwo. Shadow Ball is, in my opinion, clearly better compared to Focus Blast in this point, because since the time where I changed it back to Focus Blast, they got released basically with the Necrozma forms. Both Necrozma forms are weak to Shadow Ball, and both of those are going to be very common, and we kind of need Shadow Ball for both of them anyway. So yeah, before it was kind of a 50-50 split, like both of them are kind of cool. Now Shadow Ball is clearly better on Mewtwo. For sure, try to get the Legacy move. Shadow Ball, it's a Legacy move with the Elite TM. It's definitely worth it. But here, look at this. We were still able to come back from this horrible lead. Next opponent, we're going to have here the lead of Nihilego. That's going to be okay for us as well, as we're going to swap out now into a Mewtwo a little bit too late against that Xerneas. But if you take a look at our team and if you take a look at Nihilego, you will see quite clearly that our entire team is going to be great against this Pokemon. Like, we don't really have any issue whatsoever, which is going to be quite nice as we try to go for more Side Strikes against the opponent's Xerneas. And we can, like, I don't care about alignment. Like, I literally don't really care too much about alignment. Our entire team beats Nihilego. But I'm still going to use a shield here, just because if I can align my Dialga, I can get some free energy as well. And I'm just going to be in a very good spot no matter what. And also here I should be able to get some extra energy afterwards anyway. But they decide to even use a shield here, which is totally fine, allowing us to take a Moonblast and hopefully fully farm them down. But they sub out into their own Mewtwo. Here, I have to hope that they don't run Focus Blast. Like, Focus Blast would be so difficult for us to deal with, and it is going to be the Ice Beam, and that's going to be great. Ice Beam is also an interesting move, but I feel like right now in the current meta, Shadow Ball is clearly the best move to go for on your Mewtwo, just because of the Necrozma forms. But they could still go for another charge move here, which I don't really care too much about, because we're still going to be in a very good spot to win this battle, as again, Nihilego, like every move that Nihilego has is going to be resisted by our lead, because Ghost typing is resisting the Poison type, and the Rock type is going to get resisted from our Fighting typing, and so we're going to be able to win this game quite easily. Next opponent coming through, let's see what they're going to run. We're going to have here the Palkia in the lead, which we can definitely still go up against with that Close Combat. Close Combat is coming through. This is going to be able to connect against the opponent and get them quite low. We can swap onto our Mewtwo. If the opponent decides to use a shield, by the way, against Close Combat, fun fact there, Mewtwo would be able to outspeed them to the next move if you swap out straight away, but also they would be able to just get knocked out by one Side Strike thanks to the counter damage before, which is really cool. So like the combination of Mewtwo and Marshadow together is honestly very, very good to play right now. As we will see here, the Landorus taking some Side Strikes. They can of course debuff us, which can be a little bit annoying, but we already get them kind of low here. I could decide to use another shield if I wanted to, and I will use another shield here. As now I can overfarm by a little bit more, can go for another Side Strike, very likely forcing the shield from the opponent. Let's see, it is going to force the final shield, and I can swap out into the Marshadow to catch the move here, which is just going to be a neutral damage coming through from the opponent. And as you can see here, they're going to have in the back the Xerneas, which is not ideal. We can go for a Close Combat, which would put them of course into range for our Dialga to knock them out with just an Iron Head even before they're going to debuff themselves. But let's see how this is going to go. We're going to swap out actually into a Mewtwo instead, which can go for a Side Strike. This is not going to knock them out, but it's going to do quite a lot of damage here, as we will be able to take a hit as well. Close Combat coming through, don't really care too much. Now it's down to Dialga. Having to take a Close Combat, we're definitely going to be able to survive that Close Combat for sure. But it is coming down to if we can knock out the opponent's Landorus in time, and we can, and so this is going to be a good game. Lovely lead, like that's literally the perfect lead for us, and here you can see why Marshadow is so cool. And yes, if you don't want to build a Marshadow, you can also build an Annihilate, which is kind of a cheap variant of Marshadow. But Annihilate just doesn't have the same stats. Like Marshadow has a way better stats than Annihilate, and so it's definitely always going to be clearly above that, unless you want to run the Shadow Ball / Night Slash combination of the Annihilate, because both of those moves are not learned from the Marshadow. Anyway, we were able to get the Zygarde very low. We have a shield advantage now as well, which you're going to lose immediately afterwards, but we're going to get a ton of energy on Dialga. And energy advantage on Dialga is just brutal, because the opponent has nowhere to go. Like, they decide to go to the Everlock here, double super effective Iron Head is coming their way, getting shielded, but even after the debuff, we still should be able to hit them with a double super effective move here, and it still should knock them out very likely. And so Iron Head is coming through here on the CMP type. This is hopefully going to be enough. Let's find out. It is, and so it's down to the Ho-Oh, and what we can do is we can just keep our move stored. We can swap back out into the Marshadow. I think they're still like locked into the matchup anyway, and so I can just go back directly into my Dialga, and I will be able to win this battle without even showcasing my Mewtwo in the back, which is quite ridiculous. Palkia in the lead. Again, as said before, you can just go straight for the Close Combat. They cannot reach the Spatial Rent in time, so if they go for their own charge move, let it go through. If they want to use a shield, swap out straight away afterwards. If they don't want to use a shield, you could actually try to farm them down, I think. But here, just a safe play here not to go into the Mewtwo. And what you're going to see next is that one Side Strike should hopefully be enough to knock them out here at this point, as they got some nice counter damage in before. And we will see here as well that they're going to go back into a Landorus. Landorus is quite common here as well, as we can go for another charge move. This is going to be able to get them quite low. We can use a shield against the opponent as well. Sensei Storm is coming through, and we try to reach another one in time, which we can, which is great. And let's see how this is going to be going for the opponent. They decided to let the move go through. That's actually quite interesting. Did not expect this. As they go into the Ho-Oh, we are kind of, I think we're debuffed here at this point, right? And so I rather decide to swap out into my own Marshadow, go for a Close Combat. Close Combat does always do more damage than the Ice Punch if you can only get to one move, and if it's resisted, of course. And so this is definitely range for just one move of that Mewtwo, but I can also take a hit here from our Dialga. The opponent has one charge move, like one Pokemon left here, which is going to be quite nice for us, as this will allow us to go ahead and go for an Iron Head here, force the final shield, swap out into the Mewtwo eventually, or like just, yeah, go into the Mewtwo, go for the Side Strike and knock them out. And this is going to be a very good game here. Bye-bye Ho-Oh, which takes a little bit because the opponent apparently forfeited or like, yeah, rage quitted. Next one, let's take a look at what they're going to have here. We're going to encounter the Everluck in the lead, which is going to be great. And again, like kind of a similar team that we saw already before. It is going to be, you know, the swap in of that, Zygarde. Zygarde is not going to really appreciate the Ice Punches. We can take one Crunch. I don't really care too much about this one. And we will see as well that we can now go for another Ice Punch, force the shield or the knockout. Both of them are going to be fine. And I can go still into my Dialga afterwards, which can get a ton of energy. That's not the same battle that we saw before already, but it is kind of playing out the exact same way, because why not? We will see here as well the Earthquake coming through. We can get more energy. Let's see what the opponent tries to do next. It is going to be, this time around, the Solgaleo that's swapping in. Raw of Time should be kind of fine here. They're going to go straight for the Side Strike, which is not Side Strike, Psychic Fangs, of course, which is totally fine. This is going to be able to, not really do any damage, but drop our defense. We can try to get their shield, which does work out quite well as well here. And let's see what is next coming up here. We're going to see another Raw of Time coming through. And this is resisted, remember. It is still doing so much damage. It's kind of ridiculous on how strong the Dialga is with the new move Raw of Time. It's the same as Dracomedia, but without any drawback, which is just ridiculous, not gonna lie. Anyway, Iron Head coming through here against us. We swap out at the same time as they swap out. Our Marshadow is going to be able to outspeed them. And look how many battles I actually won. It was just kind of unfortunate that Tulos was straight away in the lead there. But as you can see here, we can now win this battle as well, and we can move on to the second to last battle for today. Again, just go straight for the close combat against the Palkia. Palkia will not appreciate this one at all. This is going to do quite some significant amount of damage if it's going to connect. I still swap out here because I would still be able to farm them down even with the Mewtwo. This shield was silly. This is just an awkward tier, and I should have known this, so that was kind of, yeah, not ideal, I would say. As the opponent especially swaps out into a Pokemon that is quite spammy and doesn't really do as much damage either as well, which is going to be, of course, the opponent's Landorus, but I guess shielding up a Sensia Storm would make more sense than shielding up an Awkward Tail. But here we will still be able to go for another charge move. Side Strike coming through. Side Strike is going to connect now. We are kind of at the same amount of health as they can go for another charge move. I will still use another shield as I can overfarm even as well here. And we're still in a very solid spot. But the opponent is going to go for another one here against our Marshadow. Marshadow is going to be able to still take this one. That was a Stone Edge, wasn't it? Am I silly? But yeah, we're going to be able to go for the full farm down. And now in comes the Fairy type Pokemon, Zacian. That is going to be quite an awkward one for sure, but we might be even able to reach another Ice Punch, and we can reach an Ice Punch before they knock us out. And so we were able to do the maximum amount of damage with our Marshadow, while the opponent tries to go for a charge move very soon as well. If they go for close combat, they debuff themselves quite significantly. If they go for play rough, they don't debuff them, but they also don't put me into a range where I'm really too scared. And so they are in a very difficult spot, in a spot where they cannot win because we can snipe them again. And so this can do it for this one. Let's move on to the next opponent. Final one for today, we're going to encounter here the Palkia in the lead. We can try to go ahead and go for a close combat against this Pokemon as well, which is hopefully enough to, yeah, get them into range. I can counter them down. They go straight for the Awkward Tail. I think they win this in the Zero Shield scenarios just because of the debuff of our defense here. But again, they use a shield, and we can try to go for a Side Strike as they swap out into a Crossma. And again, if I had a Shadow Ball here, I would have been in a great spot, because let me actually check real quick on the side. Shadow Ball should do a lot of damage against the opponent. Shadow Ball is super effective. It's a very strong move. It's Mewtwo with a high attack stat, and you saw already how much damage a Focus Blast did, and I feel like it does kind of the same, if not even more damage against something like a Necrozma. And so, yeah, like definitely going to be something interesting for the Necrozma Dawn Rings, definitely going to guarantee a knockout. And for the other one, does 77%, which is quite cool. Focus Blast does actually 72.7%. So yeah, it does more damage than the Focus Blast. And so it's definitely going to be the best move to have right now in Mewtwo. I might make another video about Mewtwo as well. But here we will see the Landorus having to take some Iron Heads as well. This is going to be able to get the shield from them. I tried to reach that Ice Punch. Can we still do it? We cannot in time, but so we are forced to use a shield here. It is still going to be a tough one to come back from. The opponent is going to go down here with that one at least, but we still have another Pokemon to deal with. And so Ice Punch going to knock out the Landorus, but there's still that Palkia in the back. And because they get all the energy here, sadly, this is going to be a loss. But this is going to be it for this video. Marshadow, I would recommend you to build it if you want to have this Pokemon built, because like, it's a good Pokemon. It's a good Pokemon to run. It is definitely a very solid Pokemon for the Master League. And I see you then. Bye bye.